Welcome back to another episode of Growth Through Ganja Smoke with me, Miss Pearl. This episode is called My Boy, and it comes from J. Cole and Wale. And this is my perspective on having a son. So, if you don't know by now, I have a 15-year-old son. I feel like I talk about my kids often, but some people be acting like they don't see that shit. Especially dudes that just are like attracted to me because for whatever reason, and like I don't even know where you came from, and then you don't even date women with kids. I'll be trying to wondering, like, I'll be just wondering, how did you miss that? Because I never exclude the kids. Like, they not hidden, they right there. I talk about being a mother all the time. And most times I make sure that the people that I interact with know that I have kids. Yeah, I do. Two of them. But we're going to talk about my son on this episode. Me and my son look alike. He hates hearing it, but he doesn't look like his father. He just has his father's personality down to the fucking drop. Both of them Scorpios. My son is a Scorpio November. His father is October Scorpio. Never again. Never again. Anywho, now that my son is a teenager, like, shit look way different. And it's even more important for me to figure out ways to be closer to my son more than ever, because I tell him all the time, like, I work on getting my shit together so that my son don't end up with somebody's bucket head ass, ratchet ass daughter. I just don't. Keep her over there. And this is not about making my son seem like he's some perfect person, but no, no, no. I'm starting to see or hear more about the type of girls that my son likes, and then even still, how we are is important, because a lot of that trickles down into the relationships that he's going to have with women. It's important for me to not be like, it's a wrap for me in regards to dating. Yeah, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. Like, oh, like, wrap that shit up. Wrap it up. I was with my ex for like 4 years, and then after that was my twin flame. And the way that my kids are with my twin flame, especially my son and my twin flame, like, it's a wrap. If I don't stay with my twin flame, like, I can't be seen with nobody else to, like, my daughter out of high school. I just don't want it to be the norm for me to have people coming in and out of their lives. Like, I'm just not the mom that got a bunch of male friends. Like, no. I don't have friends. And no, he don't allow. The fuck whether he allow. I don't want to, because what we gonna do together that I can't do? And then I don't want to have to explain that shit to my kids, especially not my son, because my son be looking, he be like, I am the example. And it'd be so funny because when my son was younger, I was like terribly overweight. I was pushing 215. And then my son, like today, he's like, I didn't know that my parents were fat. And I'm just like, of course you didn't know. Because at that time, you were probably younger, and you didn't view like the way that you view life right now. And you don't like no big girls. Oh, my son don't like no big girls. He get that straight from his daddy. And I don't want that for my son either. Fuck all that. Because I've seen the big girl turn her whole family big. And it's either you big, you with my son, you gonna either get small and exercise with my son, or my son gonna have to get fat sitting around with you. And no, No. And I don't want to be one of those type of mothers that gotta be all in your son business. Like, my son ain't my man. My son is my son. He's my child, and that's it. There's no pressure on him to be my man. That shit is weird as fuck. You can't keep a man, so you make your son a man. Nah, no. My son is a child, and he gonna stay in a child's fucking place. My son and I feel like we have a pretty good relationship. It's definitely improved over the years. Back when I was people pleasing, when he was younger, I wasn't paying attention to him and, really honing in or making him like the primary focus at that crucial time. Like those first 7 years, you fuck that up as a mom. It's gonna take time to like get that shit in a better place. And you have to be conscious about it. So I've been conscious about it for a minute now. It's improved quite a few things. I feel like we communicate better. When he's in school, he's at his dad's house for the vast majority of the time. I just think of ways to make sure that we communicate as often as possible. I check on him very often. When he has field trips, I just go ahead and pay for that shit. When he needs shit for school, most of the time I just go ahead and pay for that shit because the time for us is different now. And he like 30 minutes away. Not something that I'm used to, but at the same time, it happens. He needs that consistency. He needs something stable. Not that I'm not stable, but going back and forth really often. I watch how it played out on him in his middle school years, and he toughed it out, and I don't want him to have to go through that in high school. I can't get him to school on time anyway. So for me, with my son and like co-parenting with his dad, we don't really have a huge power struggle. We've had some issues for sure, but there's not a real power struggle. I know my son gets caught off guard by having to go back and forth and stuff coming up unexpectedly, and he's getting older, and I'm just like, now we at the point where we talking about you getting your fucking learner's permit. And I'm grateful for my daughter because she helped to put things into perspective when it came to my son. It was a very hard lesson when God go ahead and throw you 2 by 2. It's a hard one. And if you don't consciously start to get your shit together after that, like, I'm not trying to be 3 for 3 just because the sky is blue. I'm not trying to have dudes in and out of his life, and if it was up to my son, I would be with just anybody because he be thinking I'm lonely, and I'm like, I'm not lonely. I have to like really think, like, who do I want to have influence over my kids, and especially my son's, because my son can ask me whatever he want to ask me the same way I'll ask him whatever he wants to, whatever I want to ask him. Then I keep in mind he's a Scorpio. Scorpios treat every fucking thing like a secret. All I'm asking is, what did you do to the oodles and noodles to get them to taste like that? I'm not even. Everything with them be a secret. It's just wild. My son has this Fresh Prince type thing going on. He has this Fresh Prince build. He like 6'1" now. I think he said he was like 200 pounds. I don't even know. And then it's like he got a stomach that got a stomach inside of it or something. I don't know. He be asking for money to go out and like that's not enough. I'm thinking, like, how much you need to eat? They don't give out cups of water no more. And he knows I'm like dirt dog ass cheap. He got some type of shoes from Burlington, some type of Nikes from Burlington. He was like, "Oh, these really in here." I was like, "Okay." I was like, "The price is all right on them because for me, like I don't believe in brown boys having to all have Jordans. Fuck all that. For what?" When my son was younger, he used to get shoes like every 3 months because he was going through them like that. And now that he kind of been steady with the shoe size, I still be like, did you? My son got to search. He got to pull all his resources together before he even think to ask me for some shoes. He be like, oh, they just only this price, then you pay for it. I don't see myself spending hundreds of dollars on a damn thing because that's not important. I try to teach my son that all the time. Then he the type he get money and he still spend your money. When we go out, it is pretty fun. We went out this past weekend. I was watching boxing. I was watching Berlanga get his ass knocked out. Then I was watching the UFC right after that. Um, some young guy got knocked out by the Black Piece. I don't remember his name right now. But if you watch UFC, you know what I'm talking about. And then he was watching basketball. And we asked the other questions, blah, blah, blah. Of course, I pay for the food. And then I keep cash with me, so I'll give him the cash so that he can tip the waitress. And then he'd be all dramatic about it. While we were at Dave and Buster's, I was, asking, hey, you want, play some games and blah, blah. And he was like, well, I'm too old to play the games. Next thing you know, we over there playing games. And it's important for me. This is why it's also important for me to be in shape because I like to do everything my kids do. Knowing that my son don't like big girls, if I was as big as I used to be, he probably wouldn't even want to go nowhere with me. He probably wouldn't want nobody to see me. I don't want to be that type of mother. Sons that be having the moms where it's like they don't want nobody to see their raggedy ass mother. I don't want that to be me. I don't want that to be us. I want when I'm outside, my son look good, I look good. And who knows what type of females is about to come his way. He got the brown skin, curly hair, natural girls that he like, and then he got the TikTok girls. So he already kind of separating the two. But then also tell him like don't focus on that shit. They'll be there. The girls will be there. Him and his dad have a really close relationship, and I'm glad. I never really wanted to stand in between them. It ain't gonna benefit me. Yeah, come get him. You on the way? Come get him. Yeah. Women thinking that they can raise a man to be a man. No, you can raise him to be a decent human being. To be a man. Just stop. You don't walk in them shoes, girl. The shoes don't fit your feet. It's okay. If they don't fit your feet. It's the same way with having a girl. And you're not with her dad. You can't teach her how to be with men. You can put her on the game. But when there's certain voids there, you can't make up for that shit. It's important for me to dress well. Because then my son will want to also dress well. We had a little something. I had to sock him a couple times recently because I noticed that when he was, after he was playing basketball, the game was over, he would like take his jersey out of shorts and then he would like pull the shorts down a little bit. And I'm looking at this shit from across the gym like, and I don't want to scuffle with him. I don't want to start no shit. I ain't seen this is my first time seeing you all day and I got to see your drawers. Which means I got to tell you, pull your motherfucking pants up. And one time, he started laughing when I was telling him about this shit, and whatever happened, he got hit a few times. He wasn't laughing after that. He started laughing. I'm like, you can't tell me that I'm acting like your pants is all the way down your ass. I said it don't. It starts right there, and then it end up down your ass. And it's like our young men have to know what that shit means. But again, our young men are on display with their fucking pants hanging off their ass, jewelry, all that other Bama goofy ass shit on TV. So they think this shit is real. So I have to tell my son, like, that shit not real. He wanna, my son's passion is cars. Like, literally, he has a Monopoly car birthmark. Like, he hear that car engine going down the hill, looking around. Oh, that's that type of car, and it probably got this engine in it. I don't know this. I don't know what he's talking about. I know that's his thing. So, after high school, he want to get into automotives. And it's like it's to be expected for me. But then, he want to convince me that he love his hobby. No, you don't love basketball. You like it in the school. It's cool. You got to be honest with your kids when it comes to their passions. They love something. Just hone in on that. Don't make them out to be some shit that they're not. And then another thing, regardless of what their passion, like Charleston White said, if you invested in your child still don't owe you. I'm not one of them type of moms either. I'm waiting on my son to make it big so that I don't ever have to work again. Javante Davis' mother still work. She still go to work. They just know that that's her son, and she won't be there when he got big fights going on. They already know this. I know. You know I'm off for the rest of the week. I see y'all next week. I don't even like to play explicit music around my son. And I cuss. He hears me cuss from time to time. And I'm just not comfortable with it because of the context and how explicit it can be. Now, some songs, I've asked him, you listen to Big Sean? Because he think I listen to only clean music. I'm like, nah, it's just easier. You know what I'm saying? People be playing explicit music at fucking children's parties. I noticed, when we were doing 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, and I was taking him to his middle school, he would tell me stuff like, "Oh, mom, I wasn't, feeling good today," and blah blah. I'm like, we need to change your routine in the morning. He would get right up in the morning and then go eat and then go get ready for school, and then his body didn't have nothing to eat. Now his body like, I'm hungry, my blood sugar low. You got a water, you got a juice or something. And so I had to change all that around. Like, all right, what can I take off my kids or my son's hands so that make his routine a little bit easier? He's also a firstborn, and I've been reading a book about being a firstborn, and it helps to also put things into perspective as well. There are some moms who will make shit easier for a raggedy ass nigga before they make shit easier for their own son. And it could be the same shit. You make a nigga something to eat and he ain't did shit for you. But you'll cuss your son out because he hungry. Or you old enough, you big enough, go do it. Like, I don't want to live like that. I try to cater to my son as much as possible because that's just, I don't know, that's just our thing. If he want food, I just go get the food together. Like in the morning, I would make him a nice breakfast. He'll eat on the way to school. I'll play the Eric Thomas. Because I noticed I used to play like Drake and all that shit before going to school and wondering why I'm getting calls home. It's because he all jacked up on Mountain Dew. And I would think like my son really wasn't listening to Eric Thomas, but then like he'll say something and then I'll be like, oh, you paying attention, huh? Oh, you paying attention, eh? Okay. I still play Eric Thomas for my son. Or I still play motivational stuff. You know what I'm saying? I still send it to him, but I know he on his way to school. Because it's not healthy for our boys to just wake up, murder, kill, fuck this bitch, da da da. And it's not healthy for anybody, but it's definitely not healthy for our sons. All of our sons can't fit on the fucking basketball court or the fucking football field. This can't be the only thing that's for them, or being a fucking rapper. And I be asking my son, what does he listen to? Right now, he listening to Yeet like it's nobody's business. And with Yeet, I just be like, it's just some songs that's alright. Other than that, my favorite rapper is Cole, so you already know I can't be listening to that shit. But I just try to not keep up like I'm trying to, be cool with my son. Fuck no. I'm just trying to keep up with I just want to know. I don't want to be those parents that's like not aware or not paying attention. You just push your oldest over there in the corner and they just doing whatever the fuck they want to do and you find out about it later. I mean, I'm not going to know every single thing, but if I'm not paying attention, or I'm gonna focus on my son at all, or I don't have any space for us to be open with each other, I ain't gonna know shit. Then I'm dealing with a Scorpio, so then I really ain't gonna know shit. And for my son, I want him to be a very decent young man. I know he's not gonna be perfect. I know he's gonna mess up. But some shit is like, take better care of yourself. One time he plays a saxophone like it's nobody's business, right? One time he was on stage and his shirt was balled up, wrinkled, and I was like, no. Usually, if I could get to the school in time, after work or whatever, to give him the clothes, I would iron that shit out. I will iron. He will be crisp. He will be nice and well dressed on that stage because it matters. Looking dirty, having pants hanging down, that shit is unacceptable. And my son already know. And I remind him all the time, it's not a good look. We talk about self-confidence. We talk about quite a few things. And hygiene is definitely important. But him and his dad, I feel like they got that pretty much down packed for the most part. Because my son and hygiene, they best friends. He take care of that. But overall, for my son, I really want him to do what he loves, not what he likes to fit in. I'll be hearing about the stories, I'll be going on with other kids. And I'll be telling myself, like, fuck them kids. I love kids. But fuck them kids. Going to school is no joke. When you're going to school with a bunch of fucking strangers, you don't know what the fuck. He's talking about people vaping at the school, people having sex at the school. I remember when he told me recently a fight broke out at school because I'll go pick him up. We'll head out for the evening, and I'm like, what's going on with school? But he needs some time to process the transition from his dad's house to being with me. That's just how he been his whole life. So I've learned to not take it and beat him over the head with it. I just give him his space to adjust to my energy and my presence. And eventually he opens up. So this time the story was a fight broke out at school, and I'm like, oh, okay. He said, man, I was running out the bathroom and all I hear is, ooh. I said, you ran towards the fight? He was like, yeah. And I was like, I said, I'm just going to let you know this shit now. I said, when them niggas start fighting, you need to find an exit. Because it can get real crowded. It can get real thick. And I said, I'm telling you this now because you about to get old enough to go and drive here, drive there with your friends. And niggas get to fighting, niggas get to shooting. And you don't want to be running towards the fight. Now you out there, you in cuffs, and you just want to be a bystander. You just wanted to be a part of the audience. Nah, get the fuck up out of there. It ain't your fight. Get the fuck up out of there. And he got quiet, but it was what it was. So, ladies, when it comes to your sons, work on yourself first. If you ain't who you like, ask him. As a matter of fact, ask your son. Ask him. How does he feel about you? Or what does he think about you? And just let him talk. But hey, what do I know? What do I know? Oh, hope maybe you got something from it. Maybe you didn't. Maybe you'll be back next week. Maybe you won't. Either way, this has been Growth Through Ganja. Smoke with me, Miss Pearl.